going to take off our 6 21mm lug nuts. All right, so we're just going to spray down this area right here. There we go. Awesome. All right, so we're going to try to take this out. To do that, you're going to use a 12mm socket. Oftentimes, these like to break off into the knuckle. So I like to use a 3/8 air gun. And that just provides vibration. Came out good. If you tried using a ratchet, more than likely it'll just twist and break off. That moves around. Let's move along. So now we're going to push back the caliper pistons. To do that, I'm going to get this little clip out of the way here. Just push that here. Push that one. Nice. Come right down here. I'm going to take my screwdriver right in between the rotor and the pad. Just slowly push it in. Try to do the same for up here. Sometimes it can be hard to get your either pry bar or screwdriver in there, but once you get it going. So we're going to remove our mounting bolts right here. You got a 17mm head and another one right there. Just going to find a place to try to hang this. So we're just going to use our pocket screwdriver. We're going to pop this ABS wire free from the clip, just like that. And that gives us a little bit more movement, so we don't have to worry about giving that ABS wire a tug. Now we'll remove the rotor. We'll set that aside. So we'll get this cap out of the way. To do that, I like to use a hammer, a screwdriver. Just kind of dent it in a little bit. We're not trying to poke a hole or anything, but once you have a dent, you can take it. There we go, that came off. Awesome. So now you have a locking cotter pin. All right, generally speaking, they're straight, they're bent once they're locked. It's always a good idea to have a new one. If you had to, you could reuse it, assuming it's still in good enough condition. That leaves us with the nut right here. We're going to grab an axle nut socket. We'll take it right off of there. Going to use our 36mm socket. Remove that nut. So we're going to spray this down with some penetrant. So we're just going to drive this through. Awesome. We didn't worry about damaging any of these threads by using a hammer. So that looks good. So we're going to disconnect our ABS sensor here. I'm going to use my small flathead screwdriver. Looks good. Use our 3/16 Allen. Take out that bolt right there. The reason for taking out this sensor is just so we don't break it once we start moving that bearing around. That's our sensor. All right, so we'll get our 17mm wrench on here. I like to use the boxed end. I'm going to use my rubber mallet. Get that broken free. Do the same thing to this one. All right, do the same to the other two. Now that they're all broken free, just loosen these up all the way. These are all as loose as they're going to get. Let's move along. So now I'm just going to take my rubber mallet. I'm going to give it a couple bonks. Give this a nice little tug. There we go. All right, so we'll just take our rag. I'm just going to clean out any gunk that might be sitting inside this area. All right, so we've got our backing plate. We've got our bearing. Put the two together, just like that. Line the hole up with where the caliper is going to be. We'll just start in these bolts, and then we'll snug them up. All right. Using our 17mm wrench. All right. We'll do the same to these. All right, we have them all bottomed out. I'm going to use my rubber mallet here. Just want to make sure these are all nice and tight. You can turn the bearing to line it up. All right, so time for the brand new axle nut here. Just put that on there. I'm just gonna blast this on. I'm not gonna try to tighten it up or anything. I'm just trying to get it so it's bottomed out. That's good. We're gonna torque this down with our 36mm socket to 173 foot-pounds. So we'll just take our locking clip, slide it over just like that. Find your hole in your axle, make sure the two line up, drop it through. You need to bend over the tabs on your cotter pin. Just have them bent so there's no way that this cotter pin can come out of here without someone really having to try. That's perfect. There's no way it can fall out. All right, never sees. Rotor. Just put on one lug nut. Make sure the rotor doesn't move around too much on you. Give a little spin, listen for noise. Sounds fine. Let's get our ABS sensor back in this. It's nice and snug. We have our wire. Just gonna bring this down. So we'll just lift up on our caliper, get our hook out of here. Bring the caliper right up and over like this. bolts. All right, so let's bottom these out. This one. Now we're going to torque them down to 91 foot-pounds. This one. Torqued, torqued. We've got our bolt. Gonna go right through here. This piece goes into there. All right, so we have our pads. You've got your wear indicator. That's going to go on the inside pad. Just take it, just like that. All right. This one, just like that. Grab one of your pins, and you're going to need this clip. This is going to go like this. So take your pin, slide it through like that. You're going to take your M clip here. You got these little ears, okay? You get the little pin. Essentially, it's going to go just like this, and then the ear is going to sit up on top of the pad. All right? So if you have this backwards, it's not going to work. Put it just like that. Continue with your pin. Slide it all the way through. Your little locking clips here. Slide that right through there. Now you're going to take your little ear. You're going to put it inside the pad. Just like that one. Make sure those are pushed in as far as they can. This ear's up on top of the pad there. This one's on top here. You also just want to make sure that this has plenty of space away from the rotor. If it's not, just kind of give it a little pull and then make sure that it's clear. This one, right straight through. Little clip. Slide that through. There it is. We've got our cover. Set that so it's pretty much on. Just make sure it's pressed in all the way along all the edges so it's nice and sealed. This looks great. So let's get the wheel up on here. All right. We're just going to bottom these out real quick. Now we'll bring it down, torque it up. All right, so let's torque down these lug nuts with our 21mm socket to 83 foot-pounds. And go crisscross. All right, awesome.